Beijing should understand that if they were to, you could kind of imagine a future where this Olympic example, as you pointed out, Isaac, is expanded to cover all of the foreign correspondence, where there's like this sort of bubble around what you can and can't see, that they would lose out too, because there wouldn't be people who are able to talk to regular people and find out what people are thinking and sort of all the nuances of that. But I will also point out that it is possible to do that kind of shoe leather reporting from outside. It's very different, and of course, you need to have the experience of having lived in China and having people that you can call upon there. But we do have reporters. So, for example, during in the first few months of the COVID pandemic, when it was first coming out of Wuhan, we actually saw this like 900% increase in our social media engagement. And it was because people inside the country, many of whom actually had their were just sealed off from anything in terms of like news of the outside world, like from inside Wuhan. They were desperate to get like news of what was happening. And so, we had reporters here who were, who actually did like very kind of basic shoe leather reporting to find out about, was the number of deaths that the Chinese government reported that came out of the first couple of months of the lockdown accurate. So they had reported 2,800 deaths. And so our reporters just called around to like the 7 main funeral parlors. They knew that was, in Wuhan, there were 7 main funeral parlors. They sort of you fact check that with provincial numbers that were being released and called around to families in the area, and they came out with a number that was like 46,000, which later on CNN got these leaked documents that basically verified that was the case, that the Chinese government had vastly underreported that number. And that's something that I don't think we could have done inside the country. You would have attracted attention to yourself if you're poking around and asking these kinds of questions. So I do think that is that's possible. And just and similarly, like one of our Uyghur reporters, there was actually a story done about him by Vice News, because he basically he makes like 100 phone calls a day to like different local police stations around Xinjiang, and he gets a lot of information from, even people who are like actually police officers, working for the government in China. And so he broke a story recently that like the Uyghur torchbearer from the 2008 Olympics is actually now serving a 14-year sentence. He's 5 years into a 14-year sentence for having watched like counter-revolutionary videos. And that's something that he got, and then we verified. And so, so there is this other kind of reporting that you can do. But I definitely agree that there is something that would be lost if you didn't have people on the ground.